This news program is proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods, celebrating 90 years in PNG.
Governor Alan Bird opposed bank's decision to cease the use of checks. New member-elect raises concern over land in Bougainville. And families in Mosby South face issues with water supply.
A very good evening. This is Wednesday's news. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. ECP Governor Alan Bird raised a question without notice to Prime Minister James Marape in relation to the central bank's decision to cease the use of checks in PNG by 22nd of December 2023. This was aired during Parliament's sitting today.
Governor Alan Bird, in his question, gave a brief explanation on how the central bank's decision is affecting the daily lives of cocoa farmers and other people of East Sepik Province. The concerned governor explained this.
We've embarked on a massive program for cocoa in our province, and we have about just over 100,000 people involved. And with the difficulties in opening bank accounts, and we've been trying really hard over the last 4 years to give our people access to bank accounts, but there's a difficulty also imposed by the central bank for people to be properly identified so they can get a bank account. Given these difficulties, what happens today, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is this. A farmer will take their cocoa to a depot, and because of crime and all these other issues, the depot will issue them a check. They can't cash the check at the bank because they have no ID. So they will take the check to a shopping center or a supermarket, and that supermarket will charge them 10% of the check. They will get store goods, and the supermarket will give them cash. Now, that's been the way things have been operating in my province for my farmers, certainly for the last 6 years.
He then asked the Prime Minister his questions.
What is the main reason for the central bank stopping our people from using checks to trade? What is the justification for it? I thought our biggest problem was a lack of foreign exchange, and the central bank should be dealing with that. When they were trying to come up with this momentous decision to change the country, who did they consult? Did they consult my people of ECP? Did they talk to any of the members of parliament or the council presidents or the ward members in ECP before they made this decision?
In response, the Prime Minister, James Marape, stated clearly that PNG is not ready to do away with the use of checks.
And I concur with the notion or the fact that we are not checkless ready yet as an economy. A greater part of our people transact in cash. A greater part of people have feel safe and secure with the use of cash in our economy. And the concern on anti-money laundering is also a valid concern in our country, not only for external money launderers, but also internally.
Grace Papiali, National Emtv News.
According to the reports released by Rabaul Volcanology Observatory under the Department of Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management at Stage 3 level, the eruption at Ulawun continued during the periods from 9 p.m. last night to 6 a.m. this morning.
Rabaul Volcanology Observatory, or RVO, reported that the eruption at Ulawun is still in an active phase with the presence of an active lava flow and continued occasional ash emissions from the summit and from the new vent. This new vent is in a parallel valley south of that containing the 2019 vent. RVO noted that the lava flow will be tracked, and if it continues to advance, it may impact agricultural areas. Further ashing may occur. The eruption will have deposited significant amounts of ash and scoria on the upper slopes of the volcano and to a lesser extent in downward areas. This means there is a potential for mud flows and flash flooding during the periods of heavy rainfall. any mudflows can occur near watercourses and low-lying regions below areas of thick ash on slopes. It is advised that people should not approach the lava flow as boulders can roll off and bushfires may be ignited. Masks should be worn in areas where ash resuspension may be an issue. RVO, however, further advised that the Ulamona seismic station has been off since 7 a.m. yesterday. This means losing the seismometer closest to the volcano and will certainly affect RVO's ability to assess Ulawun's eruption activity. The officers from RVO will soon travel to investigate this. Natasha Voy, National, Emtv News.
The Department of National Planning and Monitoring launched the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Joint Sector Review Report that was conducted in 2022 at the Hilton Hotel today. The launching marked a milestone in the commitment to improving the well-being and livelihoods of people through safe wash.
The culmination of the review is a testament to the commitment, time and collaboration of Joint Sector Review Technical Working Group. Each member representing different organizations and expertise played a crucial role, resulting in a successful launching today.
The Joint Sector Review makes a significant milestone, being the first ever in the wash sector in 2022.
The report will contribute to the upcoming review of National Wash Policy, development of the Wash Sector Development Plan, and other national wash documents that will be developed. First Secretary for Health, Australian High Commission Ms. Anna Gilchrist, elaborated on the importance of Wash Joint Sector Review in PNG.
This work is so important to building the knowledge and coordination of WASH in PNG for the most effective actions going forwards, for the continuous improvement in WASH in the country for the benefit of all Papua New Guineans.
The report serves as a roadmap for collective efforts to enhance water, sanitation and hygiene policy.
It demands that policymakers, government agencies and NGOs unite to implement the proposed strategies that are unwavering commitment.
Malinta Yopolo, National Emtv News.
Member for Mendi Munihu and Vice Minister for State-Owned Enterprises Rafael Tonpi has commended the killing of late Ronnie Tenza recently and called for peace in the district and allowed the law to take its course. The member made these statements at a news conference in Port Moresby yesterday.
Mendi Munihu MP and Vice Minister for State-Owned Enterprises Rafael Tonpi, while addressing the media on latest violence in his electorate on law and order following the recent killing of one of his staff who worked with the district treasury. Late Ronnie Kenza was murdered in Karin's LLG, which resulted in tension between the Karin's LLG and Tente. The member further condemned the killing and labeled the manner in which the killing was done as inhuman.
I condemn the killing of a very young man who has had a lot of future and a very young family and was lost in the hands of these people who have no head.
The member further made a call to the Southern Islands PPC to investigate and must ensure those responsible held accountable and allow justice to take its course.
I also want to ask the PPC Southern Islands to go to the root of it and get those people who are responsible. And they should be thrown into the prison.
Tonpi further explained that people should cease the customary way of accepting compensation over the death of fellow tribesmen and should collaborate with police to ensure those responsible are behind bars.
Person kills somebody, that person should end up in a jail. We should not cover somebody's guilt with pigs and money and let him roam the streets in the communities, and that is very bad.
He further added that Mendi is known for its involvement in fights and vandalization, which has hindered the progress of development and service delivery, and urged the people to change their mindsets.
For roads and schools and development, and we cannot bring, leaders will not bring development unless there is peace and normalcy. Yeah? And me being elected a year ago, I want to do a lot of things in education, health. I want to bring the leadership right to the people. I want to change many. But if we continue to do this thing, if we continue to fight, if we continue to kill each other, there is no reason why we should bring services to the community.
The Office of the District Development Authority will close for 2 weeks to pay respect to the death of late Ronnie. The member then extends condolences to the family of late Ronnie. Sharon Engnui, National Emtv News.
Governor for Enga Province, Peter Ipatas, apologized to the country today on the recent election-related violence in Wabeg town that is the result of the Lagai by-election. Peter Ipatas made these statements today during Parliament sitting.
The recent by-election of the Lagai district did not turn out as expected by the leaders of parliament. As for the veteran governor of Enga province, Peter Ipatas, a great concern was for the normalcy of his township. Sir Ipatas, upon speaking in Parliament today, apologized to the House of the People of this nation on the election-related violence that sparked recently in Wabeg town.
To firstly apologize to this parliament and of course the people of this nation for having Enga on the map for wrong reasons, and of course it brings a bad image to the country because of the availability of social media, especially on the Lagai by-elections in Enga province.
Grace Papiali, National Emtv News.
Enga Governor Peter Ipatas has asked the Prime Minister James Marape to conduct an investigation through the Office of the Independent Commission against Corruption on the recent issue of the Lagai by-election. Ipatas gave his question without notice to Prime Minister James Marape during today's Parliament sitting.
For the benefit of this nation.
Sir Peter Ipatas, upon his statement on the recent issue of the Lagai open electorate by-election, emphasized highly on the importance of taking action on lawlessness so that the in the country.
What is happening in Enga is being orchestrated or has come about because of the involvement of officials in government, as well as these candidates. Candidates who want to come to this parliament at all costs, breaking the law or doing whatever is necessary to come to this honorable house. I see that this is a problem that can bring down this country.
Sir Ipatas raised his question without notice to Prime Minister James Marape.
I intend, for the benefit of this nation, to make a complaint to the to HICAC to make this the first major investigation. Can the Prime Minister give assurance, because of the issues surrounding the incidences in Wabeg town, can he give assurance to this Parliament to fund HICAC specifically for this investigation?
Prime Minister Marape responded with assurance to the concerned governor for Enga.
HICAC will take possession of the complaint, and it will be happening at arm's length. In any resource they need to ensure the investigation is undertaken, government will give resource to HICAC to undertake this investigation.
Grace Papiali, National Emtv News.
National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. The newly elected member for North Bougainville, Francisca Semoso, has had her first parliament sitting at the Parliament House in Waigani today. The Prime Minister James Marape, Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso and other ministers congratulated and welcomed the new MP for North Bougainville on her successful election into Parliament.
Today is history for North Bougainville as their first female Minister of Parliament. Francisca Semoso had a first Parliament sitting representing her electorate. The new MP thanked her people of North Bougainville for recognizing her as a potential leader and electing her.
May talk thank you. Pastor the people of North Bougainville. Longally, Katisa Luxave, long put him one plumama come inside. Long North Bougainville, but Mr. Speaker, now this is the Honorable House. I'm actually honored to be representing the people of North Bougainville as the elected member.
The Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso acknowledged the new North Bougainville MP and commended the people of North Bougainville for pushing for their female candidate.
I'd like to take this time to, especially to our woman representative from Bougainville. I was fortunate to be there campaigning for her and seeing the people of Bougainville push for a woman candidate to speak for their people. And also I'd like to say thank you to the other women candidates who ran both in Wewak and also in North Bougainville. They were all very credible candidates. But as our Prime Minister said, only one candidate will win. And we have them sitting before us today.
Semoso said she was honored to be a female representative of Bougainville after 48 years.
One can time too, me talk thank you, also I'm long 48 years. One plum mama come inside long Bougainville. So me talk thank you to the
Meanwhile, the newly elected MP for Wewak Open, Stanley Samban, was also congratulated at the Parliament sitting today. Francisca Anania, National Emtv News.
Member for North Bougainville, Francisca Semoso, raised her question without notice to the Minister for Lands and Urbanization in regards to land in Bougainville. This concern on land was raised in Parliament today.
The newly elected member for North Bougainville, Francisca Semoso, raised her first question without notice to Minister Rosso in Parliament today.
Ask him blow me the soul. You know, blong North the soul. I think blow Bougainville. Me ask him also giran blow me pla. Story blong me napoy. And the soul, Mr. Speaker, me lusim lahan blong Minister blong giran blong beki me ask him blow me. Thank you.
As Minister responsible for lands, Rosso responded
that in 2021, under the vision of our government, Lands Department was the first department to hand completely 100% of its powers back to the people of Bougainville on land matters. So we have completed that, and in consultation with the member for ABG, the Lands Minister at the time, the Honorable Hamal Sawa, that process was completed. All the processes for lands in Bougainville, Mr. Speaker, are now for the people of Bougainville to determine what they want, the land use, and what they want to do with that in the future. And also, when we handed it over, we did not just hand it over, we also will be supporting Bougainville with technical assistance from the National Department of Lands to ensure that the processes that they adhere to, we will support them on the technical aspects of those land matters.
Minister Rosso stated that with proper consultation with the Bougainville leaders in Parliament, plans are underway for the proper township of Bougainville. Grace Papiali, National Emtv News.
Meanwhile, member for Northfly James Donald questioned Minister for Works and Highways Solan Mirisim on the total monetary value of all the road projects of the Connect PNG program during Parliament sitting today.
The member for Northfly, James Donald, upon his two questions without notice to the Minister for Works and Highways, Solan Mirisim, firstly asked for the total figures used this year on the road projects in the country. Minister Maritime gave his response.
Next 5 years, 7.9 billion. Phase 1, money must go along Connect PNG, where Bamipla Masigat, all contractors line up for the next 5 years. And then another 5 years, 20 billion. I must go along Connect PNG. Phase 1, Phase 2, now Phase 3.
The North Fly MP, in his concern, raised his second question in regards to the road connecting Teleformin to North Fly and Sundown in the West Sepik province.
The funding source along this road, all I know is plenty money come underneath long Octedi tax credit scheme. And I would like to know that this road is costing how much as of today. Come out of the tax credit scheme.
Minister Maritime, in his response, also made mention that the people of North Fly now have access to roads through the help of Octedi Mining and the Connect PNG program, spearheaded by the national government.
Octedi is supporting All Shopip Road, long Kisim Road go down long All Shopip, which Melagapilo member of North Fly Mas Amamas. Road.
Grace Papiale, National Emtv News.
As an essential aspect to life and a basic right, water is very much an issue in various parts of the nation's capital. One of these areas is the Vabukori and Taikone communities in Port Moresby South, of which, despite the heat today, men, women and children gathered around a drain in a long line with containers to fetch water.
We get our water in this community here, from the drain.
That was Kensi Novalu, a community leader at Vabukori village who was sitting next to a drain fetching water. Further up to the main road, a much bigger crowd gathered for the same purpose. Water is a scarce resource for residents living in the Taikone and Vabukori area. What you see behind me are families lining up to get water from what seems the only water source in Vabukori. Residential spokeswoman for Vabukori village, Boyo Sere, expressed that water has been an issue for them for many years now.
So all Vabukori, China Nadera to Kila Barracks, we are having water problem. We suffer from water for so many years. Water goes off in the area for 3 to 4 months in a row and can last for hours when it is on. Collect all the containers from Taina Nadera, come to Vabukori and then come all the way to this place to get water. Sarah said that in the long periods of which there is no water, the residents of Vabukori go as far as Koki to look for water. We usually catch bus and go to Koki, Mango Bar. That's where we get water. But when they used to sell water for 1 kina for a container, yellow container. The residents plea for assistance in their plight from the respective authorities, saying they cannot continue to live on like this. Attempt to get a comment from Water PNG has been unsuccessful. Natasha Voy, National, MTV News.
In an interview with the president of the Public Motor Vehicle Association, along with numerous PMV operators in Port Moresby, expressed their mounting concerns over the lack of a proper bus terminal in the city, especially in the Gordons area.
The representatives emphasized the urgent need for the National Capital District Commission to address this issue and construct a dedicated terminal to facilitate organized and efficient PMV services.
The president of the PMV Association, Jack Wasso, voiced the collective sentiment, stating PMV operators have been struggling with the absence of a centralized and well-equipped bus terminal for far too long.
What plenty time we have long NCDC long again bus terminal in Zelo Gorens, but no proper bus terminal in Zelo here, long Gorens. As in a bus here, you sit down, look too much.
The operators highlighted several challenges arising from the current lack of a designated terminal, including traffic congestion, head-on parking, and difficulties in maintaining a systematic schedule. They emphasized that a proper terminal would not only benefit the operators, but also enhance the overall commuting experience for the public.
In a phone interview with the spokesperson of the National Capital District Commission, One Piece Ako, he said NCDC has already planned to build a youth transit bus station at the Gordon's Police Barracks after a memorandum of understanding had been signed with the former Police Commissioner Gary Bucky for NCDC to relocate the barracks and to build a transit hub for PMVs in the city.
So that was the essence of the memorandum of understanding that was signed. So we are still on it. We keep pushing the boundaries to ensure we realize that vision.
The spokesperson highlighted that NCDC has been working closely with the police department to fulfill this arrangement to develop a transit hub for PMVs at Gordon's. Louis Maingu, National Emtv News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2685 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying $0.2610 US, $0.3954 Australian dollars, $0.2316 euro, 38.37 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copra closed higher, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. Isipik Provincial Government has signed a memorandum of agreement with the National Airport Corporation for the upgrade and extension of Boram Airport in Wewak. This MOA is an administration process that will guide the provincial government and the NAC on their responsibilities on how to advance the upgrade of the airport. The MOA also includes lands as part of the development process of the airport.
East Sepik Provincial Administrator Samson Torovi said they are working closely with the government to ensure the smooth flow of the project. He said between next year 2024 and 2025 they will work closely on the design of the airport and actual work is expected to start in 2026. Mr. Torovi also assured the landowners of Boram Airport that they will be compensated in due time as it is captured in the MOA.
We get timeline all set to finish now. Line like putting money on look side. Side no me no like missing this about. Me insist also this like MOU must come up so that me sabi good lo work lo. Now me talk sabi lo one work me can make you lo help no work. Work lo to talk about you lo learn on. So helping you lo strengthen you play yet. And I'm still on that one. And me giving me play framework law when we work from big Molani. This law, MOU, National Ports Corporation, work long and long, bring investor come inside, work good inside, that is the environment, people of strike, not delivering this runway, not delivering this airport.
NAC Acting Managing Director Joseph Quintao said that as long as there is available equity, the project will flow smoothly. CEO Quintao said the terminal will be a state-of-the-art facility with 2,000 meters runway that will cater for fleets such as Airbus 220 and Boeing 737. He further appealed to the people of Isipik to cooperate with their provincial government in order to allow important infrastructural development to take place, which will be of benefit to the province. Edson Kuso, National Emtv News.
The recently revived business arm of Madang Provincial Government, the Madang Development Corporation or MDC, has appointed an academic to serve as the chairman of the corporation. Dr. Mio Komolong, a specialist in agriculture systems, was appointed through a Provincial Executive Council decision on October this year. He now replaces Madang Governor Ramsey Pariwa as per the governor's request.
From Karkar Island in Madang Sumkar district, Dr. Komolong has a doctorate in agricultural science from the University of Queensland and has been working as a consultant in the agriculture innovation systems and institutional capacity building. Dr. Komolong replaces Governor Pariwa as the head of MDC as per the governor's request. According to Governor Ramsey Pariwa, this was to ensure MDC be independent and free from political interference. He signed the documents to formalize his appointment and thanked Governor Pariwa for trusting him to lead MDC. Dr. Komolong did not mince words, citing that the previous board members who had run MDC to the ground came in with ulterior motives, which resulted in the downfall of the company. The Madang Development Corporation will be the parent company to manage all major business activities in the future, which have been planned by the Madang provincial government under the leadership of Governor Ramsey Pariwa. Edson Kuso, National, Emtv News.
Head of Maritime Element in the PNG Defence Force and Director for Maritime Operations, Commander Sebastian Maru, highlighted on the importance of having more than 4 Guardian-class patrol boats in Papua New Guinea. He made these statements yesterday during the welcome ceremony of His Majesty PNG ship Gilbert Toropo that arrived in Port Moresby yesterday from Australia.
Commander Sebastian Maru explained that the main issue encountered in operations is mainly on factory issue. Commander Maru told this newsroom that more Guardian-class patrol boats with enough capabilities are needed in order for the officers to perform their constitutional role. Commander Maru then gave a brief statement on the Guardian-class patrol boats.
So, here we are at the landing craft base, where the 2 landing crafts are based. All patrol boats are based in Lombrum, in Manus. So eventually they will be going up there. When they are not on operational duties, they are in Manus, in Lombrum. 2018, we acquired Ted Diro. That was the first one. And then in 2021, Rokus Looking Up was brought in. In 2022, we had the French Salvo. And the last out of the 4 is Gilbert Toropo.
Grace Papiali, National, Emtv News.
Head of Maritime Element in the PNG Defence Force and Director for Maritime Operations, Commander Sebastian Maru, announced that plans are underway for the commissioning of HM PNG's Gilbert Toropo. He made these statements during the welcome ceremony of the ship yesterday.
Moving forward, the next big event will be the commissioning of new ship Gilbert Toropo, where she will become HMPNGS Gilbert Toropo. The date and time will be determined by the CDF.
You're watching National Emtv News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The 2023 Pacific Games, which is the 17th edition, was witnessed by more than 10,000 spectators as hundreds watched the games from home as Solomon Island played host. They saw countries make their way out into the newly built stadium, chanting and performing their traditional dances.
The 2023 Pacific Games saw representative countries participating at the Pacific Games make their way out into the stadium as chosen athletes walked out with the rest of their team members carrying their country's flag. Each country had the opportunity to also perform their traditional dance, chants, and let alone enjoy the opening games, the opening ceremony. and let alone enjoy the opening ceremony of the Pacific Games in Solomon Islands.
Isn't it wonderful to see?
Papua New Guinean athletes and officials also had their fair share upon walking out into the stadium singing a traditional song familiar to the athletes as the PNG contingent made their way out.
PNG, well represented, huge team here.
Before the fireworks and a symbol that connects the people of Solomon Islands to the ocean, Solomon Island Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare gave his speech to marking the 2023 Pacific Games Open.
And on behalf of all Solomon Islanders, and in the presence of all of you here, and those watching and listening throughout the world, I am honored to declare the 2023 Pacific Games open.
This prompted the fireworks.
And Jim Morrell connects the baton, which sets the race.
The 2023 Pacific Games hosted by Solomon Islands is the 17th edition of the Pacific Games.
Before the home nation.
And after months of preparations in the lead up to the 2023 Pacific Games, volunteers, athletes and officials say they are finally following the opening ceremony. Starting from scratch, the 2023 Pacific Games brought a lot of concerns if and whether or not Solomon Islands was ready to host the 17th edition of the Pacific Games.
Has been all across the Solomon Islands over the last 100 days, bringing joy and inspiration of the Games.
After months of hard work put in by athletes, officials and volunteers from around the Pacific region, they say it was a sheer determination and belief that it was possible to host the Pacific Games.
We are all very excited because we were given the opportunity to for the women. We are all women Zumba groups.
Well, for now on, we've been rehearsing for about more than 1 month, like 4 weeks, more than 4 weeks or so. It's exciting and I feel nervous at the same time.
We are choir dancers and we're all looking for today, and we hope this will make people happy.
This led to successfully playing day one of the competition, as well as more fun and entertainment throughout the opening night, as everyone celebrated.
We're honored and very proud, and it's something that we're very privileged to do. So again, we're very honored and proud to represent our country.
Host nation Solomon Island dominated the first day of the competition in the medal standings.
The list of 108 kilograms representing Solomon Islands.
And to the Games now, day one of swimming witnessed the men's and women's 4x100 meter freestyle event where New Caledonia men's and women's team not only led but won the event, taking home gold.
Wade Bog off to a great start. Outside of her is Prolong of New Caledonia.
Day one of the competition for swimming at the 2023 Pacific Games saw New Caledonia dominate the men's and women's 4x100 meter relay freestyle.
Interesting to see if she can lower that record she set in 2015, a 4:20.40.
In the women's category for the 400 meters freestyle relay, New Caledonia, Tahiti and Fiji all finished on a close note, but New Caledonia successfully swam faster than the other two countries to win gold, followed by Tahiti with silver and Fiji taking bronze.
After 300 meters of swimming your fastest, and as any swimmer can attest, the last 100 is usually the toughest part of the race.
In the men's division, again New Caledonia dominated the race to take up gold in the first day of swimming, followed by Samoa in the second sport with silver and Tahiti with bronze.
On the outside for Team Cook Islands, Wesley Roberts picking up the pace. It's a rush for the gold medal here. Rue on the outside lane as well for Tahiti. It looks like Wesley Roberts may...
Unfortunately, Papua New Guinea missed out on a medal for both the men's and women's in the 4x100 meter relay freestyle event.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. With a total of 12 participating teams in the code of Judo, Australia, New Caledonia and Tahiti dominated the competition in both the men's and women's category.
With a total of 12 participating teams in the code of Judo, Australia took every opportunity it could to make its mark at this year's Pacific Games. New Caledonia and Tahiti also dominated the competition in both the men's and women's category. These three countries performed extremely well amongst 9 other countries, as the Mets were in their favour. Australia were the first to take out gold in the men's 73 kg division.
Even just my teammates back at home, they helped me push through training. They're always there to help me. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Also dominating the medal tally in the Pacific Games was New Caledonia, that also took out gold in the code of Judo for the men's 81 kg category.
2 years ago, it was very hard because the weather is so hot here. So for me, it was most difficult. It was the weather. Yeah.
Also dominating Judo challenge on the mats were New Caledonia, Australia and Tahiti, who proved to be the more dominant side in the competition.
Here at SIF Academy, and spectators have experienced a very high quality.
New Caledonia took out gold in the open women's category.
It's my first selection for Pacific Games, and the last Pacific Games, my shoulder was injured, and it's a revenge for me today.
Meanwhile, PNG has not secured any medals in the sport of Judo.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy with possible brief patchy showers, and thunderstorm Daru partly cloudy. Kerema cloudy with few showers. Alatau cloudy periods with few showers and thunderstorm. Popondetta cloudy periods with possible brief showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 22nd of November 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods, celebrating 90 years in PNG.